Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm a PR consultant from Scotland, and in this video I'm going to share with you PR activities that any business owner can do.
Right, hello folks, it is Monday morning. I've had a busy one so far. I have been out my jog. I was up super early, went out my jog, did some work, got ready, came to the podcast studio Glasgow, who are a client of mine and also who I do a bit of work with in terms of recording a few bits. So yeah, we're recording a few episodes of a new podcast that we're working on together. So that was good fun. It's all about podcasting, it's all about PR and how the two can work together and blend together. So right up my street. So enjoyed that. Of course, while I was doing that, all chaos was breaking loose with a call that was meant to be taking place that a client didn't have the details for, so just the usual PR drama. So I've been dealing with that since I got out of the podcast studio, sorting everything out. And yeah, looking forward to cracking on with some pitching and outreach for clients this afternoon. Busy week. I've got a few things happening. I will take you with me as best I can. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing the PR activities that anyone can do. And I mean anyone, like they don't cost a lot to do. If you're a business owner, they are potentially going to help you get more eyes on your business and grow your credibility and your reputation, which is obviously really, really important for any business. So yeah, PR activities that you can do in your business that will apply to pretty much any business. Right, welcome back. It is Wednesday. I have been pretty busy this morning, not gonna lie. I've had a meeting, a coffee meeting, which was nice, and then just been pitching. Had a list of clients that I needed to pitch out for. I've written a press release. I've had a quick call with a client there. I've been backwards and forwards on a few bits on messaging, emails. I've had a client who was doing a media interview this morning. I've had a client who was recording a podcast at lunchtime, both of which went really, really well. I've got a client who's on a podcast tomorrow, so we've just been firming up things around that. So yeah, it's just been kept busy. And what I wanted to talk about was, even though I am a PR consultant, I'm the first one to say that what I do is not rocket science. And really, there's a few things that any business owner can do when it comes to PR, and I'm going to just quickly talk about what they are. I guess firstly, if we think about like why would we even bother doing PR, I think it's probably important to address the benefits that PR can bring. Now, is PR a standalone activity? It can be, but you're probably going to have the best results if you combine PR and marketing. So when people say to me like PR versus marketing, really the answer to that for me is both together. Like you need to have your socials, you need to have your marketing activities happening. You can supplement and complement those with PR activities. And the reason for that is when you're marketing something, it's you that's telling people, buy my product because it's XYZ, or trust me because I know XYZ. But when you're doing PR, someone else is shining that spotlight onto you. And that's where that sort of transferred credibility comes. So every time you're on a podcast, the host is basically telling their audience that you are someone that they think the audience should listen to for whatever reason, that you have got something of interest to say to that particular group of people. It's the same with media. If the media publish an article, it is almost like a mini endorsement of the fact that you are prominent enough and knowledgeable enough to share that information. So it's really, really powerful to have someone else shine their spotlight on you. And when you combine that with your own marketing outreach, it really can be completely transformational for your business. So I never would say to people just to do PR as a standalone activity. But the funny thing is, a lot of people will say, well, I can't afford a social media manager, but I'll do my social media myself. But not so many people say, well, I can't afford a PR consultant, so I'll do my PR myself. And actually, you can. And I would say, if you're unsure where to start with PR, start with podcasts. Try and be a guest on as many podcasts as you possibly can, because the reality is podcasts are great for tapping into other people's audiences. They're great for learning to speak better in sort of, these kinds of settings where you've got to talk about your business, where you've got to share what you know, and you just become much more succinct and much more accustomed to talking about your business, sharing your knowledge, and sort of interacting with that audience and connecting with them, which is really important going forward in your career as well. The other good thing about podcasts is they don't take up a lot of time. You just do a little bit of recording for like an hour, probably max, and you can be reaching an audience of hundreds, if not more. So where I would start if I had a business, I couldn't afford PR support and I'd never done any PR before, I would start by trying to be a guest on some podcasts. And first step I would take is thinking about what is it that I want to talk about. I would list all the things that I can talk about on podcasts, and I would use those terms, those topics that I've written down as search terms, as like keyword searches on the podcast platforms, on the social media platforms, looking for podcasts that have those themes. Once you've done that, you can pitch. Once you've found a few podcasts to pitch out to that you think will be a good fit, then you can basically just start pitching. And if you don't know where to start to write a pitch, use AI. Tell ChatGPT, Claude, whatever it is that you use, what you want to say, what you want to get across in your podcast pitch. And I've got another video here that I'm going to put a link to where you can actually find out my podcast pitching strategy. So I'm not going to go into that again right now, but tell ChatGPT what kinds of things to include from that video, and make sure that you don't just copy and paste whatever it comes back with. Make sure it sounds like it's written by a person, you. Make sure it's not full of I'm not this, I'm this type phrases. Make sure it's not full of the long dashes. Make sure that it sounds and feels like you have written it. So it can give you the structure, and then you can, just tweak it and make sure it feels right to you. And then you just basically start pitching, and you just repeat that process of researching and pitching and researching and pitching. And you have to tailor your pitch and tweak it sometimes for a specific podcast theme, until hopefully you'll get that yes. So what I'm saying is, it's not rocket science. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take up too much time, but you do have to plan it into your week to do this research, to find podcasts that you think you could contribute to, that talk about the things that you talk about, and to get out there and pitch to them. So even if I'm doing myself out of a job here, you don't need the likes of me. Obviously, it's preferable in a way because, I've got contacts. I know what to say straight away to try and hook podcast hosts into my guests and show them that my guests have got what they're looking for. But you can do it too if you're on your own. So don't be put off, and don't think, well, I don't have a podcast or a PR consultant. Just do it anyway. And the same goes for media. If there's specific sort of magazines or publications specific to your industry, then what have you got to lose? If you think you've got something to say, maybe you've got knowledge to share, maybe you've got an opinion to give within your industry, pitch out. You'll find their details again by searching online. You'll find the contact details just by doing a little bit of detective work. Pitch your article. Say, I can provide you with an article on XYZ, and here is why I think your readers would like it. Here is why I think I am a good person to share this information. And just start somewhere. I guess the other element of it is speaking, and in some ways I don't really like to include speaking too much in my PR offerings, but when it comes to people that want to speak, it's funny because they fall into two camps. You've got one camp who are absolutely desperate to be speakers. They want to speak at conferences, they want to speak at TEDx, etc. And then you've got another camp who basically couldn't think of anything worse than standing up and speaking in front of people. So if you can't think of anything worse, park that just now and just go with the podcast, because that'll give you practice. If you're going to be guesting on a podcast, then it will give you good practice. And go with some media just to, again, build your profile, build your credibility in your area of expertise. But if you really, really enjoy speaking and you want to be a speaker, again, you don't need to have a speaking agent. You don't need to have a PR consultant who's doing all your outreach for you. Again, start small. Start with what I would call like micro speaking gigs. So maybe speaking to a business group in your local area, maybe speaking at a networking event, at a community event, just depending on what your subject matter is. But start small. Pitch yourself, put yourself forward to opportunities, find out local events that are going on, find out who the organiser is, drop them a note. All of that can lead to these little opportunities that you can still use on your socials. So if you speak at a networking event, it doesn't matter if there's only 12 people in the audience, you're still there talking in front of them, and it shows a level of authority on your part that you can then share on your socials. And that can lead to more speaking opportunities. Same on podcasts. You're showing a level of authority and credibility, and it just boosts all these other things that you're doing. So don't wait is the message from this video. Do not wait until you can afford a PR consultant. Try a DIY approach, because guess what? Lots of people have done it before you and it works. But most people don't bother, or they give up too soon. So make it part of your week to research some podcasts, to research some publications, and then to put your pitches together with the help of AI if that's what you need, and just start putting yourself out there and see what opportunities come your way.
Hello, I hope it is not too dark in here, but I'm just in a kind of like an underground car park, but I am on my way to an event. It's a book launch for, by a lady who has done one of my fast track sessions. I do a little bit of PR support for her from time to time. So looking forward to that. To be honest, it's like what I always say, I could have done with a few more hours at my laptop today, but already, of course, had this in the diary, and I will enjoy it. I'm glad to be going, but at the same time, I do feel when you put things like this in your diary, it's a 2-hour event, and I've had to leave an hour or so before, and I'll be home about an hour or so after it, so that's 4 hours. And I know I'm like so particular about this, but that is literally like 4 hours of my day, and I'm happy to do it, but I just constantly feel like this, there's other stuff I could be doing in that time as well. And of course, we can't do it all, and we have to take time away from our laptop sometimes. I think it just doesn't help that I've just had like such a busy morning. I have not stopped. I started work just before 8 this morning. I literally left there at about 1:10, 1:15, and I've been on calls, I've been doing pitching, trying to get through my list, and I've still got stuff to do, so I know I'm going to have to do some work tonight. So yeah, because tomorrow I've got a bit of a shorter day as well with school runs, etc. So it's hard fitting it all in, I guess is what I'm saying. But anyway, looking forward to this. This lovely lady has been working very hard on her book. I'm excited for the launch to go well for her. And yes, I shall take you along and show you a few bits of it if I can. Oh. Well, it's the end of the week, and it's been a lovely week. Very, very nice week. I've actually just had my hair done this morning, which I was putting off for probably about 2 months because I kept just thinking I haven't got time, I'm too busy, which is ridiculous. But it also did persuade me and make me realise that the fact that I didn't have time, or felt I didn't have time to go for a haircut, was a problem in my business. So I guess that kind of spurred me on to get some help. So yes, I have a few things lined up of people to help me on the admin side and on the PR side. So things are feeling, still hectic, of course, but I've got a little bit more of a feeling of calm. I feel 10% more calm than I did last week, I think. So it's also been a good week. It's been, I've had a client who was interviewed by a newspaper. I've had several clients recording podcasts this week. All different clients on all different themes. I've had a client commissioned to write a business article for a magazine. So I've also had someone who said that they want to go ahead and start working with me towards the end of next month, which is great. So yeah, it's been a really good week work-wise. I've been doing I've been doing tons of pitching for clients, and I've also been doing some outreach for StormSafe Crisis Communications, which is the crisis communications support business that I run with my an ex-colleague who is a business partner in that business. And yeah, I probably should do a different video about it at some point, because it's really like starting from scratch, trying to, even though we've got contacts, even though we have a good reputation with the people that we worked with in the past, starting a whole new business is just a different beast. You've got to go out and do like the groundwork again, and I'm finding that quite tough actually, just to try and fit everything in with my client work as well. So I set aside some time today to do that, so I feel quite good because everything is done off the list. It's sort of early mid-afternoon-ish, and I'm going to head out to do the school run soon. So yeah, busy. But I say it every single week, and I know I do, and I'm sorry about that, because I actually don't know how we're at the end of March. It's literally like, and this is a good lesson, every day I show up, I get through my list, I win that day, and you hear other people talking about this as well, win the day, and you just keep moving forward. And I still have my panicky moments of what if it all, falls apart? What if I am not doing a good enough job for this client or that client? And but you know what, we just do our best. We do our best, and I am ready for the weekend, but not in a way that I'm exhausted and I can't wait not to work. I love what I do. I'm ready to just have some headspace over the weekend, and come back even stronger next week. So that's it for another vlog. Hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful on the PR side of things, and I will see you again soon.